Braun Strowman books his ticket to WrestleMania Backlash, and we are going to see a triple threat match now for the WWE title. We're going to talk about it in just a second, so stay tuned. This is the Raw Review. What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are talking about Monday Night Raw. The show wasn't as great as we've come to expect. You know, nothing really special happening, nothing intriguing enough to keep us focused on the show for 3 hours. But we got a few bits and pieces kind of going towards this WrestleMania Backlash show, which is sometime in the middle of May, I think 16th of May. So we're going to get into that very shortly, so stay tuned. But right here at WrestleMania UK, I discuss everything that's WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into the Raw Review. And the show opened up with what was supposed to be a tag team match. T-Bar and Mace taking on Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre. Strowman and McIntyre had some words backstage before they came out. Braun Strowman saying how that Drew McIntyre never thanked him for helping him last week. Again, when the ex-Retribution guys attacked him, Braun Strowman said that, you know, he doesn't need Drew McIntyre's help. Drew McIntyre should learn from him, in fact. And Drew McIntyre went on to say his accolades and why Braun Strowman should learn from him. Braun Strowman said he doesn't need a partner. He went out there to face Mace and T-Bar in a handicap match. So as the ring announcer was, you know, saying everything of the rules of the match, this, that, and the other, as he said, tag team match, Braun Strowman took the microphone from Mike Rome and said, this is a handicap match. I'm doing it on my own. So he took on T-Bar and Mace, who obviously now they've face revealed, you know, no more masks. They're wearing very plain kind of attire. T-Bar was wearing just like briefs, the trunks with nothing on it, no design or anything. And Mace trousers, again, nothing on it. I thought this would have been a really good time to completely strip them of these Retribution identity, mask, and the name. Let's call them Dio Madden. Let's call him Dominic Dijakovic. But they've chosen not to do that. So here we are, still T-Bar and Mace. This is pretty much the opposite of what happened last week. So Braun Strowman is taking on these two in a match. They don't want to abide by the tag team rules and they start just heavily attacking Braun Strowman, who comes to the rescue. Drew McIntyre runs into the ring, clears the ring. Drew McIntyre cheekily says to Braun Strowman, you're not going to say thank you for me helping you, just like Braun Strowman said to him backstage before the match started. This obviously then turns into a tag match, Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre versus T-Bar and Mace. We see a lot of good offense, you know, just the typical big guy stuff going on here between these four massive guys. Dijakovic, I was going to say, or should I say T-Bar, sold a Future Shock DDT into the mat, like spiked himself to really sell it, which was impressive. Don't really see people sell it like that. Braun Strowman later on in the match was doing his little choo-choo train thing around the ring when all of a sudden he ran into Drew McIntyre, who took him out with a clothesline. The Retribution guys got back in the ring, and I think Drew, after getting beaten up on the outside for a bit more, he didn't quite make the count, and he was counted out. So Retribution get a DQ-ish win again, like they did last week. Exactly the same thing. T-Bar and Mace get the win here. Drew McIntyre finally gets back in the ring along with Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman isn't happy, picks him up and gives him the running power slam, obviously because he clotheslined him on the outside. So something is obviously bubbling between Braun and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre afterwards now goes backstage and he requests a match with Braun Strowman on the night. Adam Pearce says yes. Braun Strowman later on in the night said to Adam Pearce, look, in the triple threat match some weeks back to determine who the number one contender would be for Bobby Lashley's match, I wasn't pinned. Drew McIntyre pinned Randy Orton. So if I beat Drew McIntyre tonight, I want to be inserted into that Backlash match, which was the stipulation for the match because Adam Pearce agreed. So that was going to be the case. So we'll catch up with these guys in the main event on the match that they had on the night. Next up on the show, we had the New Day and Damian Priest versus Miz, Jackson Ryker, and Elias. Now, before we got into the match, we had a very long-winded Miz TV segment. As you know, we've come to really recognize this is what all the introductions to Miz matches are. They were going to do a unplugged performance of their song "Hey Hey Hop Hop," the diss track, I guess, to Bad Bunny. This was so dead. It was just so dead. Everyone trying to sing, Miz, Morrison, Jackson Riker. This was just so poor. You saw Damian Priest come out, and he came out saying that, you know, you need a live audience or something along those lines. He came out with a New Day. The New Day, Xavier Woods was carrying like a bass case of a bass, but there was no bass inside the case. It was full of tomatoes. So when they came out, we saw the bass we saw the tomatoes be thrown all over the Miz and Morrison, Jackson Riker, and Elias. And then we finally got into the tag match. Now, the tag match itself was actually all right. Like I said, 6-man tag, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Damian Priest versus Jackson Riker, Miz, and Elias. Morrison was just on the side. This was a pretty decent match. Like, it was all right. Like, it wasn't too bad. Especially the finish. The finish was really chaotic, was crazy. We saw like a tope from Damian Priest before Xavier Woods rolled up Jackson Riker and put him away for the win. So New Day get the win with Damian Priest. I guess we kind of knew Damian Priest and Miz was going to continue post-Mania, but I think involving these other guys, and New Day and Elias and Jackson Riker, is just a bit of a ball ache. The bigger question here is, where is AJ Styles and where is Omos? The Raw Tag Team Champions have not been seen since they've won those titles on night 2 of WrestleMania. New Day are here lobbying for a position, maybe. Elias, Jackson Riker, another tag team. Mace and T-Bar, maybe another tag team. Viking Raiders, who recently returned, another tag team. Cedric and Shelton, another tag team. We've actually got ourselves a little division here, and now the champions are missing. And no one knows why. Is this injury? Is this sickness? Nothing's been said. They don't care about tag team wrestling, and it's a real shame. And I would like to see them come back and this tag team division that's forming here on Raw actually gets used somewhat. That would be half entertaining. Let me know what you think, or if you've heard anything in regards to AJ and Omos's absence. That would be really interesting to know what's going on there. But yeah, little tag team division, but I guess, like I say, there's no champions or nothing to challenge for right now. Next up on the show, I believe we had this little segment where Charlotte Flair was back on Raw, which shocked me because, yes, she got $100,000 fine and she was supposed to be suspended. Sonya Deville snuck her in through the back door and brought her onto Raw, brought the referee that she attacked into the middle of the ring as well, and told Charlotte, you know, to apologize for her actions, which Charlotte did. There was a bit in Charlotte's dialogue which was super condescending and made me laugh. She said to the referee, Eddie Ringo, sorry, Eddie, I'm really sorry for putting my hands on you. I'm so sorry for manhandling you last week. In obviously the most non-sincere way as Charlotte Flair could do. Eddie accepted their apology. He said that obviously if he saw Rhea Ripley would interfere, then he would have given the match to Charlotte. Charlotte then jumped on that, saying, well, you made a mistake and you haven't apologized to me, and made Eddie Ringo, the referee, apologize. And after he apologized, Charlotte said, good boy. Charlotte said good boy as if she was talking to her son or something like that. So really condescending. But if you're going to go all the way with a Charlotte heel turn, it has to happen. This is when she's at her best, as far as I'm concerned. I guess the bigger question here is Sonya Deville. Why is she kind of in bed, so to speak, with Charlotte Flair? And she's obviously then had a run-in with Adam Pearce afterwards. You never told me this. This wasn't the plan, this, that, and the other. And Adam Pearce was quite furious with Sonya Deville. And we've seen this slowly been building the last few weeks, that, you know, Sonya's kind of making decisions without consulting Adam Pearce, who I'm guessing is her superior. She's an assistant to. No, we're probably not going to get Adam Pearce versus Sonya Deville. But yeah, very interesting to see where this is going. Next up on the show, we saw Sheamus come out. And Sheamus is obviously still gloating, from what happened last week, how he beat up Humberto Carrillo, that he's having these open challenges, but they're not for the title and no one can take the title from him and this, that, and the other. He called out someone else this week. Humberto Carrillo came out again. He was like, guy, you don't listen, you don't learn, you grow these little muscles and you think you can now take me on. But Humberto Carrillo really brought it to Sheamus this week. Really came on the offensive, taking out Sheamus, as well as we saw a beautiful suicide dive which sent Sheamus over the announcers table. So Humberto Carrillo got the upper hand this week and walked out of the Thunderdome in the ascendancy. Nice to see Humberto Carrillo getting a bit of TV time here. There's also another young star that we saw get TV time, which we'll talk about in a bit. But maybe this is heading towards Sheamus and Humberto Carrillo for the United States Championship, maybe at WrestleMania Backlash, who knows? But yeah, right now I'm just happy to see Humberto Carrillo on TV. And yeah, he's mixing up with Sheamus. He's been doing some really good work in the last 6 months or so. So yeah, next up on the show, we saw the almighty WWE Champion Bobby Lashley come out. Just before I get into that, GG up in the chat. Morning, bro. Hope you're well. He says, thank God for Mex watching Raw, so I didn't have to. Mex always doing his bit for the wrestling community. Yeah, man. I'm taking the bullets for you guys. It is a difficult watch. There's no doubt about that. But it's wrestling. We love this stuff. So I'm trying to make the best of a bad situation. But yeah, back to Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley was on Raw this week. Obviously, he wasn't on Raw last week. And him and MVP have obviously caught wind of the news that Braun Strowman, if he beats Drew McIntyre on the night, he will now be in with a chance at this title match at Backlash. And we see Bobby Lashley and MVP quite concerned that this is the case, saying this isn't fair. Why do I have to take on two men? I don't even have to be pinned and lose my title. MVP made reference to the fact that, this happened at, was it the Royal Rumble, where Bobby Lashley lost the United States Championship without being pinned. And obviously it's in their best case scenario that this stays as a singles match. So that was the main thing that they were saying. Still that Bobby Lashley is almighty and will take on all challengers and will beat all challengers, but showing some concern that a triple threat match is not in the favor of the champion and it's no way to treat the champion, which is correct. And I'm happy they kind of MVP drew on the fact that, that's how he lost the US championship without actually being pinned. Next up on the show, we had a actual backstage segment of Riddle with an announcer, and the announcer was giving him props basically for beating the legend Randy Orton last week. And Riddle was just riding round and round and round in his scooter, just talking his gibberish and all that kind of stuff, till Randy Orton showed up. And Randy Orton, who I thought, yeah, this guy's gonna batter him right here. Maybe you get another rematch since Raw loves rematches. And Randy Orton was basically saying that, look, I wanted to teach you a lesson last week. You actually taught me a lesson. I actually have some kind of respect for you because you defeated me last week. And last week as well, you mentioned, a tag team, RK Bro. Now, I'm not saying we're going to go the whole way with this tag team, but I'm willing to kind of give it a go. I've set up a tag team match for us tonight if you're willing to join. There was also some funny verbiage between the two of them where, Randy Orton told Riddle to stop speaking. I don't know what planet you're from. And he goes, I'm from planet Earth. And Randy Orton said, we have nothing in common. And Riddle said, oh, we're both from planet Earth. That's what we have in common. So this wasn't overly Riddle, going mad like he has been doing. It was just enough kind of stupidity in it, which still made it a bit funny. And Randy Orton done a great job in this segment as well. But yeah, we went out to the ring and these two had a match. So RK Bro has been formed somewhat. They had a match against Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. A pretty fun match, pretty well put together match. Obviously, very talented men, 4 men in the ring. And I guess one of the spots which we love seeing every time this happens, Randy Orton's getting ready for an RKO on Shelton Benjamin when all of a sudden Cedric Alexander just came flying out of the air and we saw Randy Orton actually apply the RKO to Cedric Alexander mid-air. He then rolled out of the ring, Cedric Alexander. Shelton Benjamin was caught up in the ropes. He gave Shelton Benjamin that draping DDT that he loves. within the ropes and then tagged in Riddle for the floating bro, and these guys got the win. So RK Bro got their first win. Don't know how long this is gonna last, but for now it looks like a thing. Looks like WWE, maybe they've had plans for Randy Orton to turn on Matt Riddle immediately, but then they thought, you know what, let these guys kind of run with this sort of thing. It's kind of fun right now. So yeah, that's where we went with that match. Next up, we have this division, man. This women's tag division is just a complete mess. So we had a backstage segment of where basically Shayna Baszler was telling Nia Jax and Reginald, you know, no distractions this week. Let's focus on the match at hand, this, that, and the other. Angel Garza comes out of nowhere and gives Nia some flowers. She's all kind of flirting with Angel Garza, accepts the flowers. She thought it was from Reginald originally. Reginald said, no, it's not from me. So Reginald looks a bit jealous, a bit mad. She's walking with the flowers now, and she sees Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, and she throws the flowers at Mandy Rose and says, put these in some water, bitch. I like Nia Jax. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but in terms of character-wise, in-ring's a different story, right? But in terms of character, I actually like Nia Jax. I actually find her amusing, and you know, she has good stuff that she comes out with, and her delivery is always on point. Anyway, we go to the match on the night, which is Asuka, Lana, and Naomi versus Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Raw Women's Champion Rhea Ripley. Don't know why they put this match together. I don't know what the meaning is of it, but hey, we're here. Halfway through the match, we see Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose coming down to the ring with a bucket of some sort. Instead of the usual, Nia Jax going to kind of chase them off and that, Shayna Baszler thought, let her go and do this, maybe deal with it and then come back to the ring because she won't be distracted. These two ladies, Mandy and Dana, threw a bucket of water at Shayna Baszler, obviously saying, you know, Nia Jax asked for water, there's your water and all that kind of stuff. Nia Jax then came over to help her tag team partner and slipped in the water, which, you know, kind of feeds more into the her being a klutz and clumsy and all of this kind of stuff since Mandy Rose tripped at WrestleMania, and they've been doing that kind of angle. Yeah, Reginald helped her out of the water. We got back to the match, and the match ended with Lana being pinned with a like the sit down kind of leg drop that Nia Jax has been doing. So they stand tall. Rhea Ripley gets a win, along with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Nothing segment, doesn't forward anything. No stories are being told here. Is there a Raw Women's Championship match at WrestleMania Backlash? Nobody knows. Just nobody knows the point of any of this really at this point. But later on, backstage, we did see Shayna Baszler, sorry, not Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville have a run-in with Mandy Rose. I think the first time they've seen each other since Sonya Deville has been back following their match of Loser Leaves WWE or wherever it was. And Sonya said that, you know, this was really kind of disrespectful behavior and immature behavior, and she put Mandy Rose in a match with Charlotte Flair on the night. So they went to have that match. Eddie Orengo, the referee, was the referee for this match as well. And yeah, this was just a kind of bog standard match. Nothing special really happened here, apart from it looked like maybe Eddie may screw up something against Charlotte Flair again. Wasn't the case. We saw Charlotte Flair beat Mandy Rose with a natural selection for the win. So Charlotte gets a win back after losing last week to Asuka. Looking strong. David F, thanks for joining us, man. He says, how are they just jobbing out Hurt Business like this? Madness. Well, Hurt Business ain't Hurt Business, because obviously they've split up. So it's it is what it is, man. Yeah, they shouldn't be being treated like this 100%, but at this point it is what it is. Manny 505, Mex doing us a great favor, keeping us informed. Thanks for joining us, Manny. Thanks for joining us this morning. Right, let's get into the main event. So the main event, as we said at the beginning, Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre. If Braun Strowman wins on the night, then Braun Strowman is going to be in the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania Backlash. Typical kind of big man match, which we've been seeing a lot of recently on Raw. There's been a loss of kind of wrestlers, or they're not really using those kind of technicians on Raw. They are relying on the bigger men, having big brutal matches. We saw headbutts, we saw a lot of power slams, and we saw a top rope suplex by Strowman, which was pretty impressive, to be honest. The match took a turn when it looked like Braun Strowman was in the ascendancy. Bobby Lashley, who was ringside, got up on the apron to cause a distraction, so that, because obviously he doesn't want Braun Strowman to be added to this match, so it's in his favor for Drew McIntyre to win. MVP then helped Drew McIntyre escape the holds that he was in. He was in a power slam. We saw Braun Strowman then actually knock MVP off the apron, and then later on we saw the Mace and T-Bar, who we all thought had allegiance to MVP and attacking Drew McIntyre, actually came in and done just that, attacked Drew McIntyre. Now, they couldn't have allegiance to MVP then because MVP wants Drew McIntyre to win. So it begs the question of who is T-Bar and T-Bar and Mace, who are they supporting in all of this? Nobody knows now. But that basically gave Braun Strowman the assist. Braun Strowman put away Drew McIntyre with the running power slam. So Braun Strowman, that's a big win. That is a big win because in the last 18 months, I think we can go as far back as, Drew McIntyre hasn't lost to many men. He hasn't lost to many men at all. Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton. I'm struggling to think anyone else that's pinned him clean. I guess The Miz pinned him somewhat clean to win the WWE Championship after cashing in. There's not many men that has beaten Drew McIntyre in the last 18 months. So this is a pretty big win for Braun Strowman. And like we said, he is now added to the WrestleMania Backlash match. So Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre challenging Bobby Lashley. And they had a bit of a united moment. Drew knew he had been kind of cheated here. It wasn't down to Braun's doing, though. They had a bit of a united moment, pointing at Bobby Lashley after the match, saying that, we're coming for you, sort of thing. We're coming for this championship. And again, it really begs the question here, it's a triple threat match. The champion doesn't have to be pinned for the title to change hands. So what's going to happen here? Is Braun Strowman going to be pinned by Bobby Lashley to save Drew, to keep Drew looking strong? Is Drew going to get his win back against Braun Strowman so he doesn't pin the champion and then will become champion? There is a multitude of ways that this could go, not very clear. This is the only real bit of intrigue on a pretty bog standard 3-hour show, which is a shame. But yeah, let me know what you guys think is going to happen down below in the comments. Who's going to walk out of WrestleMania Backlash as the WWE Champion? Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, or Braun Strowman? RK Bro, let me know your initial thoughts on those guys. And the Raw Tag Team Champions, AJ Styles and Omos. Where the heck are they? They haven't been on TV for, nearly 3-4 weeks now. And we actually look like we have somewhat of a division. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are there. But that is the Raw review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Big shout out to everyone that joined us live in the chat this morning. We'll be back later on today for Wrestle Extra, myself and Black Wrestling Alliance, where we talk all things Black Wrestling. Will be on here at 6:30 p.m. GMT or BST. That's British Standard Time. So 1:30 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, hope you can join us for that. And of course, we'll be back here most likely tomorrow with the NXT review, because NXT has now been moved to Tuesdays. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's review. Hit me up with all your thoughts of the show. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Remember to hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up on your way out. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.